Hello everybody, all you wonderful people, and welcome back to another episode of my CSS tutorial. In this episode I'm gonna be covering the horizontal and vertical alignment in CSS. So first of all, to horizontally center a block element, like for example a div element, we can set the margin to be auto. So I'm gonna give this element a class of div-1. Okay. And by setting the width of the element, we will prevent it from stretching out to the edges of the container that it's inside. In this case, the container is the body element. So, the element will then take up the specified width, and the remaining space will be split equally between the two margins. So I'm gonna take the class of div1 and I'm gonna make the width 50%. The background color is going to be light blue. The height will be, let's say, 200 pixels. Okay, there we got the div element. Now I'm gonna set the margin property to auto. So yeah, there you can see that margin auto center aligns a div element. Alright. Then what if we have some text, for example? And by the way, center aligning has no effect if the width is set to 100%. There's no effect. But when it's set to anything below that, there's going to be effect. So yeah, I'm gonna go with 50%. Okay, then I'm gonna create some text inside of this div element. Let's add a paragraph, and the paragraph is going to say this is some center aligned text. Alright, I'm gonna make the width 60%, okay, and then I can say text align center. So that will align the text on the horizontal value, on the x-axis. So that's how we can do that. If we want to center the text on the vertical value, we can use a flexbox. Display flex, align items, center, and justify content, center. Now the text is completely centered. So the text align center is enough sometimes, but the flexbox is gonna do the thing if other values won't. Alright, then I'm gonna give you an example with an image. So let's go ahead and go here. I'm gonna remove this, and then I'm gonna create an h2 element, center an image. Then we are going to need an image. Let's see, images, yes, we have plenty, good. So img, the source is gonna be images slash, let's go with example.jpg. Not that one actually. I'm gonna go with like that. Alright. So there we go, we got an image. I'm gonna set the width to be 40%. Okay. So there we have the image right now. The alternative text is going to be a cool background image. Alright. Now to center an image, we have to set the left and right margins to auto and make it into a block level element. So I'm gonna give this a class of image1, and then I'm gonna select the class of image1, and the display is gonna be a block level element. There seems to be no difference, but when we go to DevTools, we will find out that the image is now taking up the entire width of the viewport. So if I say that I'm going to add a paragraph over here, say hello, the text will go underneath. However, by default, these are inline blocks elements. Actually, the text is not going next to it. Well, that doesn't matter. Alright, so there we go, we got the block level element right now. So to center an image, we can set the margin dash left to be auto and margin dash right to be auto as well. Now we have center aligned the image. I'm also gonna take the h2 element and text align center. There we go. So now we have the text centered and the image centered as well. What we can also do is set the margin to be margin 0 auto. This is also going to work. So yeah, it's up to you. Alright, I'm gonna show you the next example. So another way to align some properties is to use the position property. So for example, let's say that we have a div with the class of div1. Inside we have a paragraph with some sample text. Okay. Then I'm gonna take the class of div1 and I'm gonna make a border of 6 pixels solid pink. Okay, maybe 4 is gonna be enough. Then I'm going to set the positioning to be absolute. Then the right, it will be 0 pixels from the right side. There we go. The width will be 300 pixels and the padding will be 10 pixels. So right now we have a div element that is aligned to the right side of the page. If we want to, we can also say right or left 0 pixels, and now that element is aligned to the left. So yeah, with the position absolute, we can give it an absolute positioning. We can also say top 250 pixels. After that, it's gonna be 250 pixels from the top. Okay, we can also take the left property out and use margin 0 auto. That could also work, except no, it actually doesn't. So keep in mind, if you're using the position absolute and some values, the margin 0 auto will not be working. Let's see, margin left auto, margin dash right auto. Okay, that doesn't work either. Alright. Anyways, this is a way to align these properties as well. Alright, I'm gonna show you another example. Okay, I'm gonna remove the styles and also the div. So, another way to align the elements is the float property. So we can have a div with the class of div1 once again and paragraph with some sample text, basically the same we had previously. Then we can go ahead and select the div1 class and say float right. The width will be 200 pixels. The border will be 4 pixels solid pink. And let's add some, no padding actually. So I'm gonna save these. So right now the div container is being floated on the right side. It has a width of 200 pixels and also the border. The border is here just to make things clearer. So yeah, we can do it like this. We can also say height 75 pixels. Then it will overflow. We can also set the overflow to be hidden. Okay, so there we go. But I'm gonna go with these tiles. We can also set this to be on the left side or on the inline end, inline start. They're basically the same thing. We can set it to be none, which makes no effect. And yeah, basically inline end and inline start, they are almost the same thing as the left and right. But yeah, this is another way to align some HTML elements. Okay, I'm gonna give you another example. So I'm gonna create an h2 heading, and this is going to say no clear fix. So if you remember, the clear fix is a way to style the elements so that the images will not overflow from their containers. So let's add a paragraph. This image is floated to the right. It is also overflowing. There we go. Then I'm gonna make a div element with the class of, actually no class, but inside I'm gonna add an image. Class img1. Source will be images. And let's take image1.jpg. And width will be 200. And alternative text will be, I don't know, what is that? Italy maybe? So let's say Italy. Okay. Then I'm also going to create another h2 heading. So this is the modern clear fix. I'm gonna create a div class clear fix. Inside I'm gonna add an image img2. The source will be images and image2.jpg. Width will be 200 and alternative text is going to be Northern Lights. Okay, then I'm gonna go to the style sheet. By the way, before I do that, I'm gonna set this one style attribute to be clear right. Okay, Let's take the img1 and let's float this to the right. So that seems to work. Let's take image number 2 and float this to the right as well. So no problems yet. However, if we take the div elements and we add some borders like 3 pixels solid pink and padding, let's say 5 pixels, or let's say 15 pixels, you can see that both of the images are overflowing. However, to the other div element, this one, we added the class clearfix. So with the clearfix, we can do this. Clearfix : after. We're gonna take the after pseudo class. The content will be empty. Clear will be both. And display will be table. So right now, you can see that this element is overflowing from the div container, but this element is not overflowing. So yeah, this is the so-called modern clearfix hack. Alright, I'm gonna give you another example. We can also center an element with padding. So I'm gonna remove these. And then I'm going to create a div element with the class of center. And I am vertically centered. Alright, then I'm gonna take the center class. I'm gonna add padding. Let's say 70 pixels on the top and bottom. And 0 pixels on the right and left. Then a border of 4 pixels solid. So this is also another way. The text is going to be vertically centered. If we want to also center it in the x-axis, we can say text align center. Now it's completely centered. So yeah, we can also use the padding property to center text. So with the text align center, this is going to be vertically and horizontally centered. There we go. So yeah, this is a good one to know as well. Okay, I'm gonna give you another example. So I'm gonna remove these. Except not this. I'm gonna keep the div element. So we can also center with line height. So in this example we use the line height property with a value that is equal to the height property to center the div element. So let's take the center and let's set the line height to be 200 pixels. Then the height of the div will be 200 pixels. Let's add a border of solid and text align center. Then we can take the center div and access the paragraph, and then we can say line height, let's say for example 1.5. Okay, 1.25, 1, 0.5, 2, 2.5, what about 3? Okay, so this is also another way to center the text. Display is going to be inline block and vertical align is gonna be at the middle. So yeah, we can also use these properties. So the line height display inline block, and vertical alignment at the middle. So yeah, now this text is vertically and horizontally centered. The text is very tall though, because the line height is set to 10. I think it's EM. Yeah, the line height is 10 EM. So if I was to have some more text inside of here, it would overflow like immediately. So yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna give you a couple more examples. I'm gonna remove these, and then I'm gonna have this div element. So we can also center with position and transform. So let's go ahead and get the div element with the class of center. The height will be 200 pixels. The position will be relative, and the border will be solid. Alright, let's take the paragraph inside of the div element. Margin will be 0. Position will be absolute. Then let's set the top to be 50%, so it's gonna be 50% from the top, and the left will be 50% as well. Right now it will look like that. However, after that we can use the transform property and translate on the x and y axis. So I'm gonna move the element 50% backwards on the x-axis and 50% backwards on the y-axis. So right now the text is pretty much going to be vertically and horizontally centered. Alright, I'm gonna give you one more example. And this one is going to be a recap of the flexbox. So let's say that we have these properties. Height and the width is 200 pixels as well. Let's create display flex, align items center. So this is for the y-axis alignment. Then we have the justify content. Let's set that to be center. I'm gonna remove the width because I guess the element was too small. Wait a moment. This comment should be displayed like that. Alright, there we go. So right now with the align item center we can align this text on the y-axis, and then we can use this to align it on the x-axis. So yeah, the flexbox is very useful, and we are gonna be using it a lot in the future, especially in the HTML series when we are going to build the YouTube website clone. But anyways, I guess this is gonna be it for this episode. I showed you a bunch of different examples on how to align different HTML elements with CSS. And yeah, this is all part of the CSS layout chapter, and basically this was the horizontal and vertical alignment episode. Anyways, I hope you were able to learn something new from this one, and I hope that I'm gonna see you in the next episode. Happy learning everyone, and have yourselves a wonderful day. Bye bye!